Welcome back to Monster Tamer, a 2D Pokemon-like RPG created Phaser 3. Previously, we worked on adding in our monster party scene, and we finished wrapping up our components for displaying our monster details on our scene. If you missed the previous videos, there'll be links in the video description to source code up to this point, as well as the complete source code for this video. There'll also be a link to the previous videos if you'd like to catch up, so let's get started. So the next thing we need to do in our monster party scene is we need to add in our logic for handling player input. And so we're going to add in our controls and listen for input, so then that way we can navigate between our monsters and our go back button so we can go back to our previous scene. So first to go ahead and do this, we'll follow our pattern we've been using. So we're going to go ahead and use our update method. And so we'll add that method to our phaser scene. And then what we'll do is we're going to call the update method on our parent class. And then the first thing we're going to do is check for our input if our controls is actually locked. So when we select a monster or when we go back to the previous scene, when we hit our cancel button, we'll want to lock our input. Then that way we'll stop processing the player's input while we do that transition to that other scene. So let's do our if statement. We'll do if our controls is input locked, then we're just going to go ahead and return early and not do anything. So then next we'll go ahead and process to see if our back button was pressed. If it was, then we're going to assume that the player wants to exit their scene and we'll go back to whatever the previous scene was. And so when I say previous scene, we're going to be able to get to the scene from multiple locations. And so the first one will be our world scene. We'll be able to go into our monster party to view our details. Or if we're in battle and we need to use an item, we're also going to come here to select our monster. Likewise, if we want to switch monsters, we would come to this scene. And so we're going to need a way to track what that previous scene was. But we'll come to that later. For now, we're just going to go ahead and put this into a method that we'll have to come back and address. So what we'll do is we're just going to check to see if our back key was pressed. We'll go ahead and use our controls. We'll do if our controls was back key pressed. Then we're going to go ahead and call our new method. So we'll do go back to previous scene, and we'll go ahead and return and stop processing our input. Then real quick, what we'll do is we'll come to the bottom of our class. Let's go ahead and add in that new method. So we'll have our private method. I'm just going to leave a comment real quick so that we'll come back to this later. So if the back button wasn't pressed, then we need to go ahead and check to see if the space key is pressed or our arrow keys. And so we'll just add our variable do const was space key pressed. Set that equal to this, our controls, and was space key pressed. We'll use that method. And if the space key was pressed, then we'll go ahead and do our logic. So what we'll want to do is if we're on our cancel button and we hit the OK button, we're going to go ahead and go back to the previous scene. If a monster is selected, then what we would want to do is transition to our next scene. And either if we're just trying to view our monster party, this is where we can see details on the individual monsters, and that's what we're going to go ahead and do now. Or if we're in battle, then this would allow us to go back to the previous scene because we're using our item or we're switching that monster. So what we're going to do is we're going to first check to see what our index is. So if our selected party monster index is equal to -1, so what we discussed before is for this index, we're going to set it to -1 when we navigate down to our cancel button here. So if we are on a cancel button, then we're going to go ahead and basically go back to our previous scene and we'll go ahead and return early. If we're not, then we need to go ahead and lock our input and transition to our next scene. And so because we don't have the scene built out yet now, we're just going to go back to our world scene just so we can test. So what we're going to do is we're going to do this, and we'll do our controls. We're going to lock our input. We'll set that to true. And then we'll do this scene.start, and we're going to go ahead and start our world scene just so we can test our logic. And then we'll go ahead and return if we do that. Finally, we just need to handle our input for our arrows, and that way we can navigate between our monsters and our button. So what we're going to do, we'll do const, we'll do our selected direction, we'll set that equal to this, our controls, get direction just pressed. And so we're going to have them tap it multiple times and not hold down the key. And so if the selected direction does not equal none, so we'll have our direction.none, enum value. Then what we'll need to do is move and update our input cursor. And so that's basically we'll want to go ahead and highlight the next monster or highlight our cancel button and update that index. So to go ahead and do that, we're just going to go ahead and do this. We'll make a new method, do move player input cursor, And we're going to pass in our selected direction. And then we're going to go ahead and call our update info container text. And then that way, if we navigate between our monster and our button, we'll update our text in our info panel here accordingly. So let's go ahead and add that new method to the bottom of our class. So we'll have our move player input, and we're going to expect a parameter of direction. And let's go ahead and add our to do. Okay, and then real quick, what we're going to do is we're going to add in our logic for our go back to previous scene. So for the time being, we're just going to do what we're doing up in our update method here. We're just going to go ahead and go back to our world scene and lock our input. And we'll worry about adding in our logic later for tracking which scene we came from. So now what we should be able to do is we save, we come back to our scene. If we go ahead and press our shift key to go back, we should handle our go back logic. So we should go back to our world scene. Let's go ahead and refresh. And if we hit the space key with our monster selected, we should also go back to our world scene. Now that we validated that logic, we're going to go ahead and add in our logic for our move player input cursor method. So before we do that, let's go ahead and add in our JS types. And so for our parameter of direction, this is going to just be our direction. And then what we'll do is we're going to return void. So we're just going to add in returns and we'll do void. So now what we need to do is we just need to use our typical switch statement where we go through our directions and then process the input accordingly. So we're just going to go ahead and add our switch statement. We'll add in our direction. And then for our direction, we just need to do our various cases. So we'll have our case, we'll have direction up. And what we're going to go ahead and do, let's just add our break statement. We're going to copy that. Let's do our direction down. And then for all of our other directions, so left, right, and none, well, we don't need to actually do anything because we're only going to be able to go up and down in this menu here. So I'm just going to copy this, go ahead and paste it, and we'll go ahead and list all of our various cases under this one. So we'll also have our right, and then we're going to have direction none. And then what we'll do is let's add in our default statement, and we'll go ahead and add in our exhaustive guard. And we'll go ahead and pass in our direction just to make sure we covered all of our cases. And we'll fix that. Let's go ahead and save. All right, so for our logic for if we press the down button, what we need to do is first we need to check to see what our index is. And if we're already at -1, that means we're at the bottom of our scene. And instead of looping back to the top, we're just going to have the player stay at the bottom. And so if our index is -1, basically we're just going to go ahead and return early and we won't do anything. If it's not -1, then what we want to do is go ahead and increment our index so we can start looping through our monster party array. And then that way we can highlight the appropriate monster in our party. And then if we get to the end of our array, and so if we're outside the bounds of that array, what we'll do is we'll go ahead and update that index to be -1. So then that way we can highlight our button here. So to go ahead and do that logic, what we'll do is let's start with our if statements. We'll do if our selected party monster index is equal to -1, then we can go ahead and just do our break statement right away. Otherwise, we want to go ahead and increment our selected party monster index. And now we'll add our safety check. So if our selected party monster index is greater than the length of our current monsters in our party, and then -1, because how we keep track of our array, then what we'll do is we'll go ahead and update our index to be -1. So we're just going to copy this here, and we'll go ahead and get rid of our plus, and we'll just assign it to -1. And then finally after that, if our index is -1, we need to go ahead and highlight our cancel button so we know that's what's currently selected. All right, so what we'll do is we'll copy these lines of code here, and before we do our break, we're going to go ahead and grab our cancel button, and we'll do set texture on our image game object. And we're going to go ahead and use our UI asset keys. And we'll use our blue button selected asset. And we'll just go ahead and put in 0 for our frame. And then we're going to update our alpha to be 1. So originally we set it to be a little bit opaque. And this one we'll make sure it's not. And if our cancel button isn't the one that's selected, then we need to update our monster party background to have our alpha of 1. And so we're going to go ahead and do this. We'll do our monster party backgrounds. And we'll go ahead and do this. We'll do our selected monster party index. We'll go ahead and do set alpha. We'll go ahead and set that to 1. So then next what we need to do is for all the other monsters that are in our party, we want to go ahead and update our background to have our alpha of 0.7. So we're going to go ahead and do that outside our switch statement. And that way, if we do up or down, we'll always go ahead and update that alpha. So after our switch statement, we're just going to go ahead and grab our monster party backgrounds. And we're going to go ahead and loop through each of them. So we'll use for each. And so in our for each method, what we'll do is we'll have our image game object. And so let's go ahead and do object. And then we're going to have our index for where we're at while we're iterating our array. And then we're just going to have a safety check. So if our index is equal to this selected monster party index, we can go ahead and return early because we don't want to reset that alpha after we've already set it. So we'll have our object and we'll call set alpha. And we're going to go ahead and do 0.7. So now we just need to go ahead and do similar logic for when we go up. So if we're at the top of our array, so if our index is 0 and we hit up, we won't do anything. Otherwise, we need to go ahead and decrement our selected index. And if we're at -1, then we want to go ahead and set it to the length of our monster party array. And so if we only have one monster, this would be the monster selected. Versus if we had 2, the monster over here on the right side would be the one that's selected. And so to go ahead and do that, let's just copy this line of code here where we check to see if we're at -1. And instead of just doing break, we're going to go ahead and bump up our index to be our length. So we'll do this. Our selected monster party index is going to be equal to this, our monsters array, and we'll get the length. So then we can go ahead and decrement our selected monster index by 1. And now we need to add in our logic for preventing that loop. So we're going to have our if statement. So we'll do if our selected monster party index is less than 0. Then we'll do our selected monster party index and we'll set equal to 0. So then finally what we need to do is we need to go ahead and update our alpha like we did before. So let's go ahead and copy this line of code here. We'll paste it. And then we need to go ahead and update our alpha and update our texture for our cancel button. So we're going to go ahead and copy this line of code here. And instead of doing our selected, we're just going to do our blue button texture, and we'll set our alpha back to 0.7. So what we're doing here is the first thing we do is we check to see if we have our cancel button selected. If we press the up key, if so, we set our index equal to the length of our array. And because our array uses 0 for our first index, we know when we decrement right away that we will have an index of one of the monsters in our party. All right, you should be able to go ahead and test our changes. If we come back to our scene, if we press the down key, we see our cancel button highlights, but our monster still stays highlighted, so our background doesn't update. And if we press down, nothing happens. If we press up, we get an error. And so if we take a quick look, it looks like we have an issue with our backgrounds. So what we need to do is let's come back to our method where we created our monsters. And yes. So after we create our background image game object, we actually need to add that to our array. And so we're just going to do this, our monster party backgrounds array. We'll do push, and we'll go ahead and add in our background image game object. So now if we come back to our scene, if we press down, we'll see our cancel button gets highlighted. Our monster grays out a little bit. And if we press down, nothing happens. If we press up, the inverse happens. And if we press up again, nothing happens. And we can also see that our text is updating appropriately. And so one last thing we'll test is if our cancel button is selected and we hit the space bar for our OK button, we do go back to our previous scene. Likewise, if we select our monster, everything's working there. So what we're going to do is let's jump over to our data manager really quick. And we're going to add in a couple more monsters just so we can make sure we're highlighting each of those as well. So let's go ahead and copy that. We'll go ahead and paste it a couple times so we at least have more than one monster. And so we'll see right away when our scene starts, all of our monsters are shown as selected. If we press down, our index starts working properly. And likewise, if we go down and up, everything works. And so to fix the bug where all of our monsters are currently selected, what we'll do is we'll come up to our create method. And after we create all of our monster game objects, what we'll go ahead and do is we're going to go ahead and call our move player input cursor, and we'll pass in the direction of none. We'll do this, we'll do our move player input cursor, we'll pass in direction none. And if we go ahead and save, what should happen is now when our scene starts, our first monster is selected, but the rest of them are grayed out. So by doing that and passing direction none, what basically happens is we run our new method, we come down to our case where we don't do anything, but we still update the alpha on our image game objects. Alright, so what we'll go ahead and do is let's clean up our data real quick from our data manager so we just have our one monster. Alright, with that actually brings this video to an end. In our next video, we're going to start building out our monster details scene, and then that way, when we select our monster from our scene here, we'll go into that scene where we can see more of details on our actual monster we selected. So as a reminder, there's a link in the description of this video to the complete source code for this video, and as always, thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed the content. If you did enjoy the video, please consider liking the video and hitting the bell icon to be notified when the next video in the series is released. For more great Phaser 3 content, please see the links on your screen now.